name is Austin Lee, and I'll be the host for this March Madness selection show.
I'm Hayden Wimmonty, and I'll be covering the West region.
I'm David Millick, and I'll be covering the South region.
I'm Sam Hilliard, and I'll be previewing the Midwest region.
I'm Cameron Wood, and I'll cover the East region.
Hello, welcome back. We are back for this March Madness coverage. We have Hayden Wimmonty to my right, David Millick, Sam Hilliard, and we have Cameron Woods, and we are going to cover the Sweet 16 and further on. First things first, let's give a little background of your bracket.
Alright, I'm Hayden Wimmonty with the West region, and I have Wisconsin and UNC left in my Sweet 16, with Wisconsin beating Coastal Carolina and Oregon, and UNC defeating Harvard and Arkansas. And then in the bottom part of the bracket, I have Xavier against Arizona, and Xavier defeated Ole Miss in the first round, and then Georgia State in the second round, and Arizona defeated Texas Southern and Ohio State. And in the first game, with Wisconsin playing UNC, I think Wisconsin's going to win this one pretty easily. Although I called an upset in our last show, I don't think UNC is just playing as well as they could. They played Harvard to a very close game in the first round, and then Wisconsin also struggled in the second round with Oregon, but I think they're going to come out and come out on top against the Tar Heels. Then in the second game, I have Xavier in Arizona, and I think Arizona is just going to blow Xavier out. They won their first game by 21, and then the second one by 15. I just think that they're just going to blow out Xavier.
I like it. What you got, David?
All right, I'm covering the South region. The two teams that I picked and are still in the Sweet 16 are Duke and Gonzaga. Starting with Duke, Duke plays upset-minded 5-seed Utah, and Gonzaga plays UCLA. Touching on Duke, they've played like a number one seed should. They blew out Robert Morris and San Diego State University. Jaleel Forsman having great back-to-back games. I don't think Duke can be stopped right now. Gonzaga, they were leading the nation in field goal percentage at 52% and second in the nation in defensive rebounds per game. They have so much size. They've got Karnowski at 7'1" and Wiltshire at 6'10" in the starting lineup. And I have Duke and Gonzaga in the Elite 8 in the South.
I got the Midwest bracket, where number one overall seed Kentucky is, and they play West Virginia in one of the Sweet 16, and Notre Dame plays Wichita State in the other. Kentucky had a really easy game against Hampton, but struggled a little bit against Cincinnati, while West Virginia looked impressive against Buffalo and Maryland. I looked for Kentucky to easily get past West Virginia. Like, there's no shock in that one. But on my other Sweet 16 game, I think Wichita State will beat Notre Dame and move on to play Kentucky. I love the way they're playing, and I love the way they are in the tournament. And Notre Dame has had two close games back-to-back, and I think they're just a tad bit overrated.
Shocker.
Whoa. So I have the East region, and I have, in the top part, we've got NC State versus Louisville. NC State's had a couple of very, very close games against LSU, and then shocked Villanova. And the really nice, interesting stat out of that game, all the past 8 seeds that have defeated a 1 seed within the last 5 years have advanced to the Final Four, so let's keep an eye on the Wolfpack. They're nothing to be scoffing at this point.
I think Kentucky last year.
Kentucky beating Wichita State last year.
That was an 8 seed,
Yeah. And then this year, or on the bottom side, you've got Oklahoma versus Michigan State. Like I said in the last video, Michigan State's been playing their best basketball of the year right now, which is very crucial if you want to keep advancing in all the madness. Coach Izzo, his experience, but also the performance of Trevor Trice, as well as Valentine. Those two combined have really helped Michigan State in their postseason play from the Big Ten tournament and into this. So I think in the top half, I've got NC State beating Louisville. I think they stay on their roll. I think they keep the streak of 8 seeds beating 1 seeds alive. And then on the bottom half, I have Michigan State past the defensive-minded Sooners. And then in the Final Four, out of that two, I actually am going to break the streak of 8 seeds advancing to the Final Four. I've got Michigan State because, like I said last time, if Coach Izzo coaching experience can become a factor, I think Michigan State will win every time.
All right. So, speaking of Trice and Valentine, which are going great right now, give me your top performers.
So for Michigan State, the top performer has to be Trice. He's had a 17-point game and a 23-point game, but also has been able to contribute to the games in other ways. And then for NC State, I have Barber and Lacey. Those two, that tandem, a pair of tandems, seem to be working really well together. Barbara as guard play, and then Lacey more in the small forward position. But I think they've both been able to really contribute to their team's efforts and help them move on in the tournament.
In the Midwest, I think the player that's helped their team get to this point, which you did expect them to do, is Wichita State's Fred Van Fleet. He had 27 points in their first game against Indiana, along with 4 assists. And then against Kansas, it was a little more even. He had 17, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists. He's been a huge part of that team, helped them upset Kansas, and hopefully they plan on upsetting Notre Dame too.
All right, what you got, David?
It's obviously B. Jalil Okafor. I mentioned him in our last broadcast earlier in the season. And he had 21 points against Robert Morris and 26 versus SDSU. And I think his defense also speaks for himself. You can't double team him. He's such a great passer out of the double team. He finds shooters, which Duke has tons of those. But I will say, if everything goes to plan on my bracket and he's matched up against Karnowski, much heavier and even taller, it's going to be an interesting matchup. I think Jalil Okafor carries Duke.
All right.
My MVP of the West is going to have to be Frank Kaminsky of Wisconsin. He went 27-12 in the first round with a double-double, and then he went 16-7 in the second round against Oregon, and I think he's going to help Wisconsin make it into the Final Four, but then I have them losing to Kentucky.
Wow. All right. Well, thank you for watching this beautiful, beautiful broadcast of this coverage of March Madness. We have William C., we have Millie, we have Hilliard, and we have Wood. We're coming back to you soon.